There's an element of surprise that's rumbling around this trading floor here in the city, Hugh, and that's all down to this debt announcement. The government is issuing more debt, much more debt than expected. Some of the reports said more than £200 billion worth of debt to be issued in the coming year, and we've had that figure, and that's come through at least £220 billion. Well, I've got a man to explain exactly what's going on. Stuart Cheek here is the head of UK gilts and government debt in that division in here in BGC Partners. Big surprise, Stuart, £220 billion.
Indeed. I mean, we were expecting 200 certainly, but now we've gone 220. And actually, if you look at it closely, the devil's in the detail. It could be as much as 260 billion from the way they've structured it.
And you were mentioning what's also interesting about this is the way the government is selling this debt. It's not its usual way. No,
they're using the syndication method, which means they can actually take some of the bonds and give them to a group of banks to sell on their behalf. So it's not just the open market for them. They're obviously concerned that they maybe don't want to do it all themselves.
And concerns about demand as well.
Absolutely, there could well be that in there, yes.
David, let's get a view from you. David's one of the partners here at BGC Partners. David, the FTSE 100, the main index of our 100 leading shares, down about 0.7%. So the market's not taking this too well.
Not particularly well, but it's just one sector really that's badly affected, and that's the insurance sector and also fund managers, because obviously with the brutal treatment that's been taken on people, the higher earners on their pensions, it is obviously going to affect the supply of money going into pension funds.
You know, it's not just the market and the numbers we need to be considering, it's the reputation of the City of London, our financial reputation.
Well, apart from the fact that we're both suffering from cardiac arrest of the gargantuan size of the debt, we are very concerned about the attitude of the government towards higher earners, because they are disincentivising people, and I'm very concerned about the City of London, which has been at the head of affairs for the last decade, suddenly seeing a mass exodus by unnecessarily harsh treatment for people who deserve to earn big money for contributions made.
OK, well, that's the view from the City, and not necessarily one everyone will agree with, but why don't we get a view from big business, because there's also been incentives announced, and also there's a specific environment for businesses to working at the moment, and we've got Barbara Kasani, chairman of Juries Inn, that's the international hotel chain, to speak with us. Now, Barbara, we've seen the growth forecast revised down. We're seeing the economy perhaps shrink around 3.5% according to today's budget announcement. How does that make you feel at the head of a large business looking to expand or looking to go forward at the moment?
Well, to be honest, that number that they've now acknowledged is what everyone knows in business right now. We are feeling that kind of decline no matter where you sit, whether you're in consumer businesses or you're in industrial companies. So in a way, it makes me feel confident that they're beginning to understand what's really going on in the real world.
And if we can get above the din in here in the trading floor, there are measures as well that the government's announced today to help businesses. Do you think this is going to help business on the road to recovery?
Well, to be honest, it seems a bit like pushing things around as opposed to really, really big initiatives, because to a company it's very simple. We need customers and we need capital to expand. Customers will only start coming back to us when they are sure about their job and they feel confident about going forward and booking a room at Juries or taking a holiday or buying a house. And companies will only start investing when capital really becomes available. And frankly, the banks now have all of our money, the taxpayers, and they're not really lending it out yet. So a company like Juries is saying, we're going to grow, we're adding hotels this year and the beginning of next year, but we're not sure beyond that because banks need to start lending again.
OK, Barbara, good to speak with you. Thanks very much for that. So a mixed picture here, a bit of disappointment from the City, at least when it comes to higher earners, but businesses perhaps seeing some signs that there may be some help towards recovery as long as there's money put in businesses and individuals' pockets. Back to you guys.
Naga, thank you very much. Naga Manchetti there. And the City will be back with Naga later on and talking a little more about the City's response and seeing if it changes in the next hour or so. We were talking to Declan Curry in Liverpool before the budget speech started. He's got some business people there with him, critical, of course, to see how they respond. Declan, what are they saying there?
Well, Hugh, every Chancellor likes to have something that they can go and sell politically after a budget, and who knows, perhaps what he had to say about help for homeowners and for pensioners might be the rabbit that he